Welcome back. We are in the midst of Analytical Writing 101. I've taught analytical writing for years. It's really easy once you learn how it's done. This lecture series is meant to show you a way forward. Last time, we looked at the secret to good thesis statements when analyzing art, like novels or films. That's getting beyond the surface narrative to a statement that gets at the greater questions of existence. Who am I and why do I exist? How we treat others is a big piece of that question. Now we're going to get into how we put that onto paper. Some teachers will have you just start with the thesis. Other teachers might want you to be brought into the thesis with an introductory technique. Here's an example of a single sentence introduction, just the thesis. In the film The Grapes of Wrath, director John Ford uses the story of the Jodes to show how changes to the environmental and technological conditions in a society can lead to suffering by the most powerful within it. You may think there's just a thesis here, but there's actually two things at work. The thesis and something we call the tag. Tag stands for title, author, and genre. In this case, our title is The Grapes of Wrath, the author of the film is the director, John Ford, and the genre is easy, it's a film. The tag must always begin an analytical paper like this because what you're doing here is providing an in-text citation. You're recognizing that this is the official work you're analyzing and you're giving credit to it. Now we're going to add in an introductory technique you can use in almost any paper. It's called an anecdote. An anecdote is a small, often funny story. We're going to get rid of the funny part and just tell a small part of the larger story in The Grapes of Wrath. But we're going to pick a small moment of that film that really shows your thesis coming out. For instance, I would not tell the story of Ma Jode being optimistic at the end of the film because it just doesn't work with my thesis. I need a moment in the film that shows changes in the environment or changes to technology that brings about suffering. What moment should I choose? I've decided to use the moment Muley's house is torn down. This will probably end up being the piece of film I analyze too. So, how long should the anecdote be? In truth, that will vary based on the overall size of your paper. If you're writing a 15-page paper, your intro technique may take up the whole first page. Since this paper is only 1,700 words, this technique should only be a few sentences. That's it. When you write these anecdotes, you always want to end on your most powerful moment. So I like to plan backwards. What do I want my last sentence to be? What's the most powerful moment of Muley losing his home? For me, it's the actual destruction of Muley's house. Then I think, well, what caused that to happen? One answer is that Muley and his family were being kicked off the land. The best way to get them to leave is to destroy their house. Then you think, well, what caused that? Why were they getting kicked off their land? And one answer to that might be that the bankers that own the land found they could make more money using tractors instead of farmers. 1, 2, 3. You plan backwards, you write forwards. The intro paragraph then looks like this. In director John Ford's film The Grapes of Wrath, American bankers living in early 1900s America decide that they can make more money by replacing farmers with a new technology, tractors. As a result of this, Muley, one of the many farmers in Oklahoma depicted in this film, is kicked out of his house with nothing before him but an uncertain future. He and his family are forced to watch as a tractor destroys his home. Muley's story is one of many in the film that show how changes to the environmental and technological conditions in a society can lead to suffering by the most powerless within it. The formula for an introductory paragraph goes like this then. Tag, anecdote, thesis. My word count, by the way, is 100 words for the intro. That's pretty good for a 1,700-word paper. Thanks for watching. Next time, we're going to look at the part of your textual analysis that requires research, the cultural contexts, and making a logical case through that research. Thanks a lot.